watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Right, Chris.
All right, good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good day, goodbye. Hello, welcome along. I apologise at the start there. I thought I'd put myself on mute while I was having a sneeze and blowing my nose, and I wasn't, so you all got enjoyment of that. We're the show that just keeps giving, aren't we? Sloppy seconds. Sorry, Jack. But you are the latest recipient. We just did a show with Craig from Up the Cherries in All Departments talking about Scott Parker. I have actually put a load of garlic all around my window so he can't get in. But look, if it's Scott Parker, we've got to get behind him. I was speaking to Rob Tanner yesterday. He did give me a little bit of an inkling. I can't say anything, but it could be happening by the end of the week or the next couple of days, whichever way you want to look at it. It is pretty much the same. Could be getting exciting. Man at CNA, eh? I should need to go and get our cardigans out. This is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. We are live on YouTube and Twitter. Thank you for joining us and watching. Please join in with the comments and the chat. Keep it obviously respectful and clean. And if you're going to be listening to this on Catch Up On Podcast, thank you for lending me your ears, whether that be on YouTube podcast, whether that be on any of the major ones, Spotify, Google, Apple, or any of the others. Just search LTI or Leicester Till I Die and you will find us on your smart speakers as well. And of course, there we are, all along the socials. I'm not on OnlyFans. I think Jack is, but we'll ask him when he comes in. Hey, it's a nice little earner, I've heard. Before we bring him in, let's just say hello to a few people. We just said this earlier, Rowan Tree, thank you so very much. Our newest member, $1.99 of your good old English pounds. There we go. And look what you get. You get all of that. Is that not enough? Look, loyalty badges and emojis. Member shout-outs, exclusive YouTube post, exclusive quiz, and the first one has just recently gone up. Member-only shows next season when we kick off. Guest slots on the shows if you wanted, and after qualifying period, 5% discount on all LTID merchandise. What? Honestly, how am I still in business? I don't know. I'm just too generous. That's what it is. Let's just say a few more hellos. We'll put a few thank yous up for all the members there. It just helps if I press the right buttons, doesn't it? Danilo, good evening. How are you? Welcome along. Thank you for joining us, Scott. Any news about the manager for Leicester City? What it's changing daily who the new favourite is. But if you go on to LTID TV on YouTube, look under the latest shows. Or the pick we call them, and you'll see a show I did last night with Rob Tanner, and he gives one or two little hints out. So I saw something about Carl Hoofkins. Yeah, he was mentioned last night as well. Daniel is in. Good evening, Daniel. We were just talking about this. Jerry Yates, 2.5 million bid, 14 goals last season. They want 14. You know, Leeds will come in offer 3.9 and get him. That's just Leicester, isn't it? I see a lot, 14 goals in a relegated side. Let's be honest with you, we couldn't manage that last season, could we? Nate is in. Good evening, Nate. How are you? As is Sharky, both members. Good evening, Sharky. You want Carl Hoofkins? Well, we'll find out hopefully by the end of the week. Everything. I read it as evening. Sharky. Leicester fan, hi again. Do you remember me also? Well done to Rowan Tree. I remember you, Leicester fan. How could I forget you? Who is he? James is in. Evening, Chris. Evening, all. How are you? What is the potential budget for this season? We were supposed to have the biggest budget, but we'll be talking about that. Dara is in. Good evening, Dara. And John, good evening, John. How are you? Look, it is the transfer window. It has opened today for the summer. I'm not saying that this guy's open today. That would be casting very unfortunate aspersions. But Jack, good evening, sir, from the final whistle.
Good evening, Chris. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. I am all right. I'll be better once we know who the manager is, but we could hear by the end of the week, potentially.
Yeah, with Leicester, they like to move things slow, Chris. You know what Leicester's like. Other teams seem to get ahead with, like, players, managers. Leicester's business, you never really hear anything. You hear more rumours and speculation from the media than what you do Leicester itself. So there's a lot of managers have been linked. Solskjaer, Benitez, Nuno's been in the odds as well. There's the guy who used to play for West Brom, the former Bruges manager, he's in there. Scott Parker, a lot of rumours about him. It's suspended, and then it's apparently not happening, but I don't know. And then there's Maresca, the Man City recent Champions League winner. So, there's a lot of managers out there, Chris, but which ones could be fancying Leicester is the question.
It is a good job, though, when you look at it. And, the setup that we've got, yes, okay, we've dropped down. It's very difficult for me. I want a manager that's in a job, because if they're out of a job, they're out of a job for a reason. It means that the last job they were shit at, and that kind of edges it down. But my choice isn't the one that I have been given the wink that it might be. But as I say, I have been sworn to secrecy. But when Leicester say it's imminent, that could be by Christmas. Christmas is imminent down at Leicester City, isn't it, Jack? Oh, I think Jack's frozen. I think we've lost Jack. Okay. Dara says we need to get a manager in. If you come back, give me a shout, Jack, but you're frozen on me at the moment. Need to get a manager in ASAP. Sell the deadwood, get players in. Look, the thing with the manager is that the transfer window opens today. The position we are in is that we do have Martin Glover in situ. So he is obviously the transfer person. He is in situ. Let's just see if we can get Jack back. Let's just have a look. Can you hear me, Jack?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, is my video fine?
Can you hear me, Mother? Yes, you froze on me.
Have I froze still?
No, you're fine now. But I have to say that you did actually do one of these.
Let it go, let it go.
Yes. You'll be humming that all night now. You know you will.
Bloody hell, Chris.
Excuse me. What I did say was that for me, I'd sooner have a manager that's in a job because it means they're doing well. For me, my first choice is Thomas from Blackburn. My second choice is, and I've forgotten his surname again, Kieran from Ipswich Town. McKenna, yeah. I'd like either of those two in. But look, we'll see. It'll be the name that I've heard, and I can't say because I did promise the guy who you probably know who's told me because he's been on the show with me. But I did promise him that I won't say anything, and He did have a meeting yesterday. But look, this is Leicester. Like I say, Christmas is imminent at Leicester. We know that, don't we? That's how quick we go. Chris, I hope you have researched all the gov outlets in the Championship for us. Look, Rotherham, Garunda sorted that one out. I can't do Rotherham at all. And look, let's just say we cannot forget Garunda, can we? Whatever happens, we cannot forget Garunda.
You know what? I'm Premier League. I am elite. I am proper elite.
No.
I am Dorinda.
I think on the side she's an Arsenal fan, but hey, look, there we go. But those are my two choices. If I was top, but if you were top now and had to pick one, who would you pick, Jack?
We need somebody who knows the Championship well, innit? Someone who knows promotion and who's got stability. Someone who knows how to rebuild a team, and you don't just want any manager. I mean, you talk about Maresca. I guess with Maresca, a lot of teams are going to want him because of heels with Pep in it. You know what I mean? It's Man City in it. Arteta did well under Guardiola. Is doing well at Arsenal now. Maresca, I'd take Maresca. To be fair, I'd take a gamble on it, Chris. He's got all the knowledge and the experience that he needs. He just needs a good backroom staff to come with him. I think he'd bring quite a few of the Manchester City loanees to the Championship, the young lads who did well last season in the Championship. So I think that'd be a good thing for Leicester. I think we need players like that, young, up and coming, who want to play football. And Scott Parker. Yeah, there's a lot of what happened at Bournemouth and what happened at Fulham, but he did get 2 promotions. We can't argue with that. He's got a good win percentage in the Championship, but yeah, I think
you were only supposed to pick one, Yeah,
all right, we'll go with Maresca. We'll go with Maresca.
You see, to me, I know where you're coming from, and to me, if I was to go to Maresca, I'd be being blinded by the fact that it's Manchester City. And yes, we could get a lot of their youngsters in, but how many of them know the Championship? We want play, and he's only had one manager's job at Parma. It didn't go
do
down
well there, did he?
No, but look, like I say, this is Leicester. It'll be somebody totally. It'll be Alan Pardew or somebody totally left field.
Sam Allardyce.
Yeah. Can I just say, I've got to say a big thank you and a big shout out to the country of Saudi Arabia for potentially taking Steven Gerrard. So that's one less we've got to worry about. And Terry says here, only subscribers can comment. Indeed, I have set that up. So you do need to subscribe to comment, but you don't have to be a subscriber. In fact, as soon as you subscribe, you can comment. And as James says, hit the likes and subscribe. Look, but we're not in the position. I mean, this time last year we did have a manager. We had Bellend, but we had got no money. Not in the fact that we were a bust, but we had obviously the FFP to worry about. Yeah, Man City and Everton, just so you know how we do business. We think by the rules. But we had no not director of football, no recruitment manager in, did we? We've now got Martin Glover. So actually, whoever comes in as a manager, as far as I understand it, we're going back to the way of it won't be down to the manager to make the decision. It'll be a group decision. He will say, these are the positions I think we need. No.
The thing is, Chris, if Leicester are to be successful in the Championship, it's got to be the manager's decision of where the manager feels he needs to buy players for in positions, and that it shouldn't be down to Rudkin or anyone like that.
No, I'm not saying it. No, what I'm saying is that the manager will say, I want a right back, I want a right winger and centre forward, but he will not be going out saying, I want to sign Vestergaard. But so he will say the positions. So, and there's obviously certain positions we know that we're going to need to fill. So I think the fact that if the manager doesn't come in, say, until this time next week, it doesn't mean that we can't sign somebody before then.
Yeah, agreed.
Talking to him, I mean, anyone that we've really seriously been linked incoming, there's plenty of links going out, and we'll go through the squad in a minute. But it was mentioned before, Jerry Yates at Blackpool.
Mm.
I mean, devastating form for a team that's gone down. The advantage I think we've got, and I don't want to sound like an Arsenal fan here, but you know, we are Leicester, and when you look at the facilities we've got, I mean, you know, years ago, Martin O'Neill used to, you know, reverse the players onto the pitch at the Filbert Street so they couldn't see the stand opposite if they were going to sign for the club. Well, now you look at Seagrave, it's a big pull, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big pull. It's one of the best training facilities in the Championship, Chris, and in Europe. So, yeah, it's something that players want to come to. They'll look at the facility and think, wow, that's better than what I had back at Blackpool or wherever club they've come from. But you know what it's like at the holiday camp down at Seagrave, Chris? You don't seem to do much training. It's like doing everything else, you know what I mean?
Just get injured.
Yeah, just get injured or play the PlayStation or whatever they've got on.
Round of golf.
So,
Hey, we could get Gareth Bale in. No, he'd be interested.
Stop from a golf course, Chris. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, do you think, I mean, we've got, and we will come on to the individual players later, but just to touch on the three strikers, I mean, there's rumours about Vardy. I mean, he's got a year left, hasn't he? And I think he can, I don't think he'll go anywhere unless it's possibly Sheffield Wednesday coming with him and say, give us a year, you know. I think, and what an end to the story if he was to fire us back up. Daka, I think, will be staying.
Yeah.
The big question for me is over Iheanacho. I hope he does, but he's a sellable asset, isn't he?
Yeah. Vardy, for me, I think he'd do all right in the Championship. Let's be honest. I think he'd score quite a few goals. Someone asked me on Twitter how many goals do you think Vardy'd score? I said 15 plus. But then someone said, yeah, but he's 36. I say it doesn't matter as long as he's getting the service, not in the Championship. It don't matter how old you are, as long as you're putting them away. You know, you've seen bloody Billy Sharp score goals in the Championship at his age, and bloody Ibrahimovic score goals at bloody 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you
and
know,
look at Vardy. Once Smith came in and we started to play to him and what have you, and he was, you know, it was like the old Vardy for a few games, wasn't it?
Yeah. Daka for me, I don't think there's going to be really any clubs interested, to be fair, Chris. I think he'll be good in the Championship if we can start him and give him a good run of games. Iheanacho, there's been links to moves to Serie A and that with Napoli and that. So, I don't know. It remains to be seen. Obviously, you know, Inter's interested in Iheanacho. Would he fancy there if Lukaku doesn't go to Inter next season? It's all down to Kell, innit? I think Kell has passion for this football club, but if he does leave, then I don't think we'd stand in his way as such. We can't sit there and moan and say, oh, for God's sake, sort of thing. You know what I mean? He's always gave us 100% Kell, and that's all you can ask for as a player.
Yeah. I'd understand. I would not bear him any grudges if he left because, let's be honest with you, he's been treated like shit since he came here. You know,
he hasn't played a lot.
Daka as well. And I don't think anybody's going to get, until Vardy moves on, and I think even when Vardy's moved on, we'll still have like the ghost of Vardy, like we've had the ghost of Mahrez on the right wing. But you know, I think Daka's the same as well. These players can't get going until they are given a good run, and we all know Iheanacho wasn't. But do you think? I mean, I know that would make 4 strikers if we signed Jerry Yates, but I'd say go and get him.
Yeah, Jerry Yates has proved it at Blackpool, Chris. I know they went down last season, but he did score 14 goals in the Championship, to be fair, for a relegation player. I think Jerry Yates would do well at Leicester. They want £4 million. We've reportedly submitted £2.5 million in rumours, Chris. It's not
so Leicester that. It's such a Leicester thing to do, isn't it?
But no, I think he'd do all right. But if he stayed in the Championship, with Blackpool, if they didn't get relegated, they reportedly wanted £6 million. So I guess £4 million won't be bad for Jerry Yates, but we're not shopping at Harrods now, Chris, are we? You know what I mean?
No.
We're not eyeing these big players that we're shopping at bloody Audi, innit? You know what I mean? We're not this bringing in these bigger players anymore. We're not in the Premier League. We've got to deal with, now that we're in the Championship, and get used to it, that we're only going to be shopping for Championship sort of players now, not this bloody Europeans.
And let's not forget, you can get the odd bargain at Audi. Look at Vardy for £1 million.
Yeah.
And I can remember before we went down to League One, because I'm an old git. We had the likes of Dennis Wise, Les Ferdinand, Keith Gillespie, all these so-called top players, but they're all at the back end of the career. And I don't want to be seen as the, Derby and Jones Football Club again. I want young, hungry players, and Jerry Yates fits that perfectly. And again, get him in, and if he doesn't hit the ground running, then he'll have a bit of time to acclimatise. A bit like Soyuncu did. He had that year while Maguire was still with us. It was like a seamless takeover. But he's the. Do you know of anybody else that's been linked? I haven't seen anybody that's sort of been seriously linked with us yet. That's not coming in anyway.
No, just Peter O'Rourke going on from Sky going on about Jerry Yates. He's 26. So yeah, we can't grumble, can we, Chris? Let's be honest.
No.
We've got to.
No.
Like I say, we're in the Championship now. We can't afford these bloody big, massive players. The Championship's full of young, hungry talent now, isn't it? It's a difficult league to get out of. We're going to attract who we're going to attract, and we're just going to accept it, Chris, at the end of the day. We can't go moaning, we don't want this player, we don't want that player, he's not going to. But until you sign him, you don't know how he's going to do for your football club. He could do fantastic, even though we're crap at, I don't know, say Millwall or somewhere like that. He's got to hit the ground running. I think, like you say, with Vardy, £1 million from Fleetwood, who'd have expected that story to turn out the way it did, Chris? You know what I mean? You just got to take these gamble and hope it pays out. If you don't bet, Chris, you'll never know.
No, and let's be honest with you, the rumours are we don't get the parachute payment this season. That's going to come if we don't get promoted again. But what we have got is the £111 million odd this season from TV and where we finished, etc. So if we're if we're in the Premier League, let's say that would have got us 3-4 players. I mean, at £4 million, we've just lost £40 million on Yuri Tielemans, because we've let him go for nothing. We wasted 40 million or 30 million quid on Soumare, not Soumare. Who's the Algerian striker? Slimani, that's it.
38 million.
Yeah, I mean, it went for nothing. So, 4 million, these are not bad prices, and they're the sort of players that we want that are in that league, because we don't want ex-Premier League players. We want players that are used to playing in the Championship, that are going to be hungry. And somebody like that, Jerry Yates, is. I mean, Boris has just said here, sorry, Boris, I'm going to have to totally disagree with you. I prefer if a fans committee pick the team. Can you imagine? We'd be picking the team now for the next game we're playing next May. We wouldn't decide on anything. God.
Do you know what, Chris? You know what? I think what it is, if we pick the team, Chris, and we started buying players ourselves as a whole fan thing, we'd end up bankrupt by the end of it. Because I guarantee somebody would want Cristiano Ronaldo in the Championship, and then we'd end up bankrupt. And then you're thinking, well, what money have we got left now that we've just got Ronaldo playing and not 10 other players? He's going to have to play every position.
That is true. And you've got to say, how often have you played Monopoly and actually finished with any money?
You end up bankrupt.
But that's it, really.
That's why it's better for fans to play career mode on FIFA.
Yes, stick to FIFA. That's the thing.
Yeah, stick to FIFA.
But
that's why.
Like I said, there's nobody really been linked. The manager, yeah, it's a case of sticking a pin in the tail on the end of the donkey, isn't it? Really, who's coming in. But we can have a look at who's sort of going out. There's the 7 we know have gone.
Yep.
Yuri Tielemans obviously got his wish and has gone to a top Champions League European club. Oh, sorry, he hasn't. He went to Villa. That's right, isn't it? Oh my God! Hang on, let's just have a look. What they're saying about that. I'm sorry. I got somebody else who's coming in with their work there. I mean, Yuri. Yeah, what can I say, mate? Yes, you're the gift that keeps on giving. You really are. I'm sorry. I know he's. What are your thoughts on him? Because I'm glad to see the back of him. To be honest with you, now.
Tielemans, like I said, will remember him for that FA Cup winning goal, and you know what I'm saying. But you know, it does take a whole team to win the FA Cup. You know, I get it was his goal that finished it 1-0, but it's a whole team performance as well that go into winning the FA Cup as a team. It's not just Tielemans' goal. If Tielemans were on his own on the football pitch, you know, against Chelsea's 11, you know, you're not really going to do much, are you? But it's a whole team collective, and that's what wins you trophies. And you know, you've got to be a team in these situations, like Man City was in the Champions League, played as a team and won. Rodri didn't take it all for himself, did he? And say, "Oh, it was me that won you the Champions League." It was this. It's a whole team collectivity, and I think that's something that Leicester did. He scored some cracking goals. Let's be honest, Chris. He's known for a long distancer, but pace isn't his best friend, is it? Let's be honest. He's running. Sometimes he moves like a bobblehead. But yeah, he seems to move his head left to right when he's running. It's just like, what are you doing, mate? You've been on the pitch 5 minutes. But pace ain't his acquisition. It's his striking and the way he can pass a ball. But in the last 18 months, Chris, you know, there was rumours with him to Arsenal, Juventus, Real Madrid and all that, and you're thinking, last summer we should have sold him, innit? But no team come in for him where he thought he was going to go, which was Champions League. So he had to stay and really grit his teeth and play on for this final year. And I don't think he's really done his best in doing that, to be fair, Chris. No disrespect, but I do wish him all the best, though.
I say I don't, because I think at the end of the day, you know, VAR won us that cup final as much as
blame Chilwell, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, whether it was on or offside, VAR said no, it was offside, so therefore technically it's offside. Had that goal counted, I don't think we would have won the cup final.
Stick the pin in the balloon, why don't you, Chris?
No. Just pick on your party, mate. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. But I don't. I honestly think it was our time. We won it. It was fantastic. I was in tears afterwards, hugging my son who was in tears. Of course, it's great. But let's not come out of that and say that we dominated that game or we were fantastic. Yes, we won it, but Tielemans scored a goal, which happened to be a good goal. I mean, even Perez was involved in that, you know. And I think if he had this love for the club that he says he had, and I must admit, I'm still puking up when I think about his leaving video. But if he had that love, he'd have signed like Maguire did another contract, so at least we could have got some money from him. But you know, with Yuri, it's all about Yuri, I'm afraid. But look, let's have a look at who might be going. I was on your channel recently, the Final Whistle. It's a great channel. If you're not subscribed to that, guys, make sure you go over there and give Jack your support. And you had me on, and you had me rating the team's season performance. So I'm gonna throw it back at your hair now and go keep or sell. Not quite a snog, marry or avoid. It's just a snog or avoid. We're not asking you to marry anybody here. But whether you'd look at these, and we do know we have got a lot of players, let's be honest, that are average ability but overpaid. Agreed. You know, we flew close to the light and we got a little bit burnt. And and we're going to have
paid over
to
the
sell.
odds in wages as well.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to have to sell. But let's get your thoughts on this, because I did this with Brad a while ago. But we'll start with everybody's favourite goalkeeper, Danny Ward. Would you keep him? Would you sell him?
To be fair, I think Danny Ward's crap. He's not. It's true.
I said everybody's favourite goalkeeper.
Man were injured during pre-season, and then I found out Schmeichel were leaving, and then they said Danny Ward were number one. I'm thinking, nah, you gotta be joking here. To be fair, yeah, Danny Ward needed a chance. They gave him the opportunity. You can't go crying about it and saying, "Oh, Leicester never gave me the chance," because they have. They gave him more than, what was it, half a season to play, and yeah, he didn't really. He kept a few clean sheets here and there, but for me, Danny Ward is now reported to be being loaned out. So for me, Chris, I'm going to have to say sell, and I would sell him rather than loan him. He's on a bit of a wage, so yeah, I'd get rid of it because I don't think he's good enough.
I got to admit, I was a Ward fan, and I was quite happy. I think Schmeichel, I think it was time for him to go, because I think he had not had the best season the season before. And you could say that was the defence and the way it was playing in front of him, but you could also say that about Danny Ward. I mean, you know, he was given the chance. Let's be honest with you, I don't think if we'd had Danny Ward, Casper Schmeichel and Peter Shilton in that goal, that they could have stopped all those goals that were going in. The defence was so bad. But I have got to say, looking at the position we are in now, I and as much as I was a fan of Danny Ward, I agree with you. I think we've got to sell him. Definitely. Justin, now this is obviously going up in the squad number. So next up is Justin. I think I know where you're going to go with this one.
Yeah, Luton fans called him the Luton Cafu, innit? And they had a banner of it at Kenilworth Road when I went. They said he's a very good player, and you do wonders at Leicester. They wasn't wrong. He's had a good career at Leicester despite the injuries, Chris. I think, you know, he's done really well in the games that he's played. It's just a shame that every time they wanted to get called up to England, he had to get injured, innit? But that's not his fault. I think he's put in some really good performances. There's still a lot of progression with him. I know the injuries have affected him, but yeah, I'm a big fan of James Justin, and I think if we keep him next season in the Championship, I think he'd do really well at Leicester. So I'm going to say keep Chris.
I have to agree with you. I think he is a sellable asset. That is the only thing. You know, we've got a lot of players there that aren't sellable because you know, when you look at them, and that's the worry, that he is sellable. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, whoever the new manager in will have a better training regime, so players don't get injured as much.
Not
but
like
yeah,
Brendan.
I mean. Yeah, exactly. And if we can get, you know, we've got to think as well, is if we want to come straight back up, we've got to keep some decent. We can't sell everybody, because when we come back up, we're going to need some. And he's got the Premier League. So I'm with you. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Keep. Now, there's actually been rumours that the guy that whoever it is that's in charge of Belgium now is saying Faze needs to leave.
Yeah, there was a lot of speculation around that the Belgian FA feel that for Fast to play with the Belgian team, he's going to have to leave Leicester, which I think to play for Belgium, you've got to be a top player, haven't you, playing in the European League, top 5 European leagues, to be honest, because they've all got all these top players, haven't they? They've got Courtois, they've got all these players, they've got Hazard, and, you know, they're all world names, aren't they? So yeah, I think if Fassi's going to have to stand a chance of playing for Belgium and keep doing it, then they're going to want somebody else, not someone who's in the Championship. So I think I agree with that statement that they've made, that he does have to leave Leicester, but does he? I mean, if he puts the performances in the Championship, why can't they still keep him in the squad? But yeah, I think Fass for me. I think I'd sell him, Chris. You know, I think if he is going to play for Belgium, then it's probably his best intention of himself to he'll probably listen to the FA of Belgium and that. So yeah, I think I'd sell him, Chris. But it's how much you'd actually get for him. I mean, is he worth the £15 million that we paid for him? First 4 games they were fine, did well, but after these first 4 games, Chris, after we signed him, he's not been that good at all, has he? Let's be honest.
He hasn't, but is that because...
Is that with Brent? Is that because of
exactly.
Brendan?
Yes,
Do you know what I mean? Is Brendan? I don't know. He can be ruthless, but I do feel we need this ruthless and aggression in the Championship. I don't mean bloody 2-foot everybody every week, but just win the ball and defend the goal. And I think that's something he can be good at. But under a new manager, he could be better. But I think with Fast, then I think, to be honest, playing for Belgium is probably his best intentions. He's probably thinking he's going to leave this summer. Because the window's open now, isn't it? So I think you'll learn more about it.
Yeah. So we're gonna sell phase, are we?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll go sell. Just.
And I'm just going to say, a couple of suggestions coming through about who we might buy. Keep them coming, and we'll look at those at the end because there's a good shout just come up, and there's some here that that's on the Leicester Mercury about who we could buy. Danny Ward alone could be a possibility, says Rob Tanner.
Yeah, I read down the Athletic.
Yeah, Evans now. You see,
he's on a lot of money.
He is, and he is injury prone, and that's again we can't really blame Brendan too much for this because he literally is, and he is old as well, but he's got experience. And the thing when we let Schmeichel go, the mistake was that maybe it was that experienced voice that we missed. But can we afford to keep him on the wages we are obviously paying him just to be that voice? Because I don't think he's going to get that many games, is he?
No. You don't want to pay somebody all this money just to be a voice in the changing room. You want them to play as well. Man's a walking prescription, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? You know, he's been on the medical table more times than on a football pitch. At Leicester, he's had toe injuries, he's had groin injuries. He's probably had all the bloody injuries in the medical book, Chris, knowing Johnny Evans. But see, they're in talks with a new contract with him, aren't they? But for me, with the wages that he's on, I wouldn't give him a new contract if it's me. I don't. He has got experience, yes, but I do feel that with a Championship, you need the younger players up and coming because if you face younger players in the Championship who's got pace, he's going to pull up every 5 minutes with players like that. See, this is where I look at Harry Souttar. Souttar would be good in the Championship because of what he did.
Exactly what you're saying. But do you think that if we do sign Johnny Evans, because it's a new contract, we'll be saying to him, let's say he was on 80 grand, and we're saying, look, there's a thing on the table here, but look at your age. Look, we'll give you 40.
See, it's if he'd accept it, innit?
Well, that's the thing. He's then got to decide. He's then going to decide is, well, who's going to take me on at my age with my injury history that's going to offer me the sort of money?
He did all right at West Brom.
He's done all right. He was younger, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a lot of injuries since, and I don't think we can take that gamble, Chris, because if we do, and he does get injuries next season, then Leicester fans are going to be like, why did you offer him a new contract, innit? So you might as well just give him a contract, Chris, that pays you play. That's what I do with him, innit? Pays you play.
I think it'll end up owing us, but I think we're in agreement. I think we need to sell him, don't we?
Yeah, I'll tell him.
Yeah. Harvey Barnes. Now he's been linked away. He's been linked with that top, Champions League European club, Aston Villa. Again, I've got to say, sell him. And there was a very interesting thing on TalkSport the other day, and somebody did point out he's very one-dimensional, and we know he is.
Yeah, he don't track back, does he? Let's be honest. He hasn't been the same player since that injury against Arsenal, innit? In lockdown, innit? So, I think that's what's done him. He doesn't have that confidence anymore to take players on and off. And, he's always looking for that back pass. And I think, Aston Villa are interested, West Ham are interested. I believe Newcastle are as well. So, I think in the best interest of Leicester, we need money this summer in it to rebuild. We need the money to rebuild this squad. If we don't sell all these players, we're not going to have the money to build this squad. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying Harvey Barnes won't do any good in the Championship because I think he'd dominate the Championship, to be fair. Left wing. He's done it for West Brom and that. But, yeah, I think in Leicester's best of interest, Chris, I think it's best to sell him, get the money and get their wages off the bill.
Yeah. I mean, Keith Cook has said here, if you keep selling players, who do we have left? It's true, but
it is.
We've still got to think of FFP, and I don't know how that affects us. Dan's in from Turf Moorhouse. He may sort of say, do you get a bit of a gap because we've come down with players that are on expensive wages? Do we get a bit of a grace period to try and balance the books?
It's how many you bring in though for how many you sell.
Well, this is it, isn't it? And you know, we have got to look at Barnes and say, all right, we've got Barnes. He's on, and again, I'm making this. You know, he's on 70,000 a week. We can get an equivalent player for the Championship that we can develop. That's maybe on 30 grand a week or whatever. So that's what we've got to look at. So yes, you know, we may not have many players left, but you know, it's a case of we've got to get rid of them because of the wages. But I agree, he is sellable, and we've also got to think if we're bringing the money in, we're not going to be able to sell our crap players. We've got a lot of those. Barnes has got to go. Vardy, we touched on him earlier. For me, he's got a season left. If he wants to stay, then as far as I'm concerned, he stays because, excuse me, I think Daka will come on to Daka later, but I think Vardy has still got a season in him. It is in the Championship. If we play to his strengths, I think he's got that season in him, and I think also that would just be a great end to his story, just getting us back there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Vardy for me, the GOAT in it. You know, I'd keep him this season and build a statue at the end of the season. Do you know what I'm saying? He's GOAT, isn't it? He's a legend, and he's Mr. Leicester City, man, isn't it? You know, he's got so much love for this club and admiration, and we've got so much love for him. You know, we love Vardy. We love having him here. He scored so many important goals, broke so many records, and we can't thank him enough for the service that he's put to Leicester City Football Club as fans. And you can't go and even pick one of his best goals, Chris. Do you know what I mean? There's so many that he scored that, you know, you could talk about. But, yeah, we've created so many memories, Leicester and Vardy, and even the fans as well. So Vardy's a keep for me, Chris. And, I think he'd do well in the Championship if he can bring in these players who can create him the service. And I think he'd do well under a new manager, but it depends who the manager is and how that manager plays him. But I don't want a new manager who's going to play Vardy up front on his own. I want him to play a 2 up front system and attacking formation, because that's what Vardy's good at, getting on the edge of the defenders and then bang, gone. Scores goals, and that's what he's known for. But under Brendan Rodgers, it kind of took him out of him, didn't it, in the last couple of, like, a year or so, you know what I mean? He looked like he'd lost pace and all that, and he didn't look the Vardy of old, did he, Chris? You know what I mean?
No.
He looked like his time were nearly up, you know, but then Dean Smith brought life back into the Fox, and he was bouncing again. I hope we can do that with him in the Championship, Chris. Get that new lease of life out of him, because pre-season's going to do him good.
Yeah, if as I said, you know, I don't know, it was off camera or not at the start, but if Sheffield Wednesday were to come in for him, I'd actually wish him all the best. There's not, you know, I know I've not said that about Tielemans and what have you, but I would to Barnes if he went, and I would to Vardy. I said, it's your hometown club, you go and have a season there, you know, even if you come back and score 2 or 3 against us, because that's how much we love you, you know, because he could have gone, he didn't. But yeah, for me, it's a keep.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see the thing is with Vardy. I don't feel that he'd obviously have them talks, like, you know, with like Top and that, about if Sheffield Wednesday come calling. Obviously, I heard from a friend who goes to the same gym as this Derby player who knows Vardy, knows Evans, and knows Albrighton, and Yeah, they were on about Vardy. When Brendan Rodgers was here, they were on about Vardy with Sheffield Wednesday in it to end his career at Sheffield Wednesday. But talk does a lot of things, doesn't it? And I think
It
that's
does.
with
And,
Brendan as manager. But I
and
feel if new manager comes in,
Sheffield Wednesday have to come in for him. Let's be honest with you,
yeah,
but
they'll have to pay his wages as well, isn't it?
exactly. And like with Soyuncu under Brendan Rodgers, he said, "I want to sign if they'd offer me a new contract." And you can't blame them. You can't blame them. Look, the show pony's up there for me. It's sell, get rid, wave him goodbye. I've started to just give him page for his taxi fare. You know, get rid for me.
Chris's cabs.
Yeah, but I did see somebody on social media say, "Do we let him run his contract down and get a season out of him because he could rip the championship up?" He's not. He's
Man,
not. He's not going to get in the England team, is he?
no,
Under Southgate, if he's in the championship.
Maddison's our prize asset, isn't it? Let's be honest. Leicester today are reported to be demanding £60 million for James Maddison. They feel that he's got a lot to give for other teams, and Tottenham and Newcastle fighting away for him. Obviously, I think it's one of the agents who know who's with Maddison, who's close with Spurs, isn't it? So does that edge it towards him going to London, or because Newcastle are they going to spend £50 million on Barella? Is it the Inter Milan midfielder? So obviously they're still interested in James Maddison. They believe talks are going on well. But when I watched in England training yesterday, I didn't see James Maddison. I didn't see James Maddison there. So I don't want to speculate in him going to bloody here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, I think with Maddison, we've got to get the money for him.
Like you say, he is our most sellable asset. Rashford apparently was talking to him about United.
It's because he's a Man United fan, Chris.
Well, yeah, exactly.
They can make a late move for him.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I love what James Maddison has done for the club. I think he did let us down towards the end. He was more concerned about him than, like I said, a bit of a show pony. But look, I wouldn't wish him on Tottenham Hotspur. I wouldn't wish Tottenham Hotspur on him, to be honest with you. I think that's the way I've got to say it. Why would you go to Tottenham Hotspur? But we've got to cash in on him. We've learnt the lessons from Tielemans, haven't we? And I'm sorry, but for me, and I think you're agreeing with me, haven't we? We've got to sell him.
Yeah, I think selling him's the best option. He wants Champions League football, but he's a Man United fan, isn't he? And Man United could make a late move for him.
They are in the Champions League, and I think he'd do well under Ten Hag.
They're in the Champions League as well, so that two might come together in it. He's a fan of that club and playing in Champions League, so I think it'd be a dream move for him. I
honestly think he'd do well at Man United.
Yeah, they've got the players, haven't they?
Yeah.
And him and Rashford, I think, would link up really well. But it's if they're going to pay that money that Leicester City won. Well, that's what's going to put teams off, Chris, isn't it? That 60 million.
Yeah, but look, this is Man United.
Just $100 million. Snap your hand up again.
Albrighton got a year left on his contract. Again, he's coming up to retirement age. I would keep him for a season.
I'm in agreement. Do you know what? I was on about this on my show when I was doing keep and sell, and Albrighton came up and they said, "Would you keep him or sell him?" I said, "I'd keep him because I think he'd do well in the Championship with Leicester. He's got the experience. I know West Brom fans didn't rate him; they thought he was crap. You know what I mean? But Leicester." With Albrighton, it's love, innit? You know what I mean? Don't call him Mr. Whippy for no reason, do they, Chris? Man can cross a ball. And you've only got to have someone like a Joe at Leicester who can head the ball home every time Albrighton crosses it. So, I think Albrighton would be that sort of good player to have in the dressing room as well. And I don't think his time in football's over yet. So, I'd keep him for that year, Chris, and see his contract out.
No, definitely. I agree with you. had he been playing for I hate to say call it a bigger club, but I think he would have been maybe even been an England regular. I mean, he can cross that ball and put it on a sixpence, can't he?
Yep.
Yeah,
Agreed.
and let's be honest with you, he will always, for me, again, another memory. He'll always be remembered for me for our first ever Champions League goal.
Yeah, and the one against Sevilla as well at the King Power.
Yes. So we're
scored some
keeping
good goals for
Brighton.
Leicester. Yeah, we'll keep him.
Now,
Number 12, who's that?
Smithers. For me, right now we're in the Championship. We have to remember where we are.
We do,
now,
yeah.
for me, with Smithers, look, if we're going to let Ward go, which we've said we both agreed that it's probably for the best because I think we know where we're going to go when we come on to Everson in a bit. But Smithers, this is probably his level, and as a number 2, if we're going to keep Everson, and we will come on to him, but then as a number 2, he's probably not bad as a number 2.
No, Smithies has got experience in this league, innit? You know what I mean? He used to play for Huddersfield. He was the man that Knockout scored that scorpion kick against it. The whatever they called it back then, but it's called the John Smiths, innit? But Knockout scored past him that scorpion kick. I remember. He's got experience in this league, Smithies, and. I think that'll offer Iverson some comfort as well, innit? Knowing that someone like Smithies, an experienced goalkeeper in that division, knows the league well, can help him out, pass different things onto him. And I'd keep Alex Smithies for that reason.
No, we're agreeing. Well, I don't think we've actually disagreed on anybody yet, have we? This is getting a bit scary.
We'll see.
Ian. Now, I've got to say, I don't know if Brad has actually gone to Leicester. I hope he's having a good time. But I know if Brad was here, he would be saying, play the tune, Chris, play the tune. And so in fairness for Brad, I can't find it. But where has he gone? I've lost it. Oh, I know where he is. He's under N for Nacho Man. It's a new one. Here we go. Just for you, Brad. Nacho, you know when you've been nachoed. I think we're going to agree on this one as well.
Nacho, man. This guy shows passion, man. You could see the distraught in his face in the last game of the season at full time, innit, when he did the interview and that. He cares about the club. Like I said, I wouldn't blame him if he left. I wouldn't stand in his way. I don't think the club would either, to be fair. No. He scored some important goals. He got us to the FA Cup final, let's be honest. Played a massive part in the FA Cup. He scored, was it 19 goals that season when Brendan Rodgers gave him the opportunity up front, scored a banger against Crystal Palace.
Before he was dropped the following season. Typical.
Yeah, he might not have had a good first 3 years, Chris, do you know what I mean? He
never had the chance, did he? He was only playing 10 minutes there, 15 minutes there.
That's what I'm saying. He was young, come from Man City. You know, everyone put the world on his shoulders, innit? Because the high expectations coming from a team like Man City, and he's come from Man City. Man's gonna take the ground running, and you know, with Kel, you've got to think about it. At Man City, they had world class players, innit? You know what I mean? He didn't really have to do much to score goals and that. But at Leicester, you have to work hard. You have to be better, and I think he's come more on, Kel. He's come more mature. His hold-up play's good. His touch might not be that great, but, you know, his hold-up play's good. And I think he's played a crucial part in the last few seasons at Leicester when given the chance, score some good goals. And, I wouldn't stand in his way if he did leave, Chris, to be fair. So, I don't know. Which way are you thinking with this, Chris? I'd want to keep him, but, you know, I don't feel that... I don't think he'd want to leave, but if a team came in for him, I think Leicester would sell him if they got the right money, because that's what they're saying. If they get the right money for these players and teams do come in with the right price, then Leicester will agree to sell these players. So I think with Kelly, a big comes in, he'll leave.
Yeah, I don't think Leicester will stand in anybody's way.
No, they need the money, innit?
Yeah, and you've also got to say, look, love them, hate them, or whatever. We have gone down a league, and yes, there are relegation clauses in there. I'm
There
sure
is.
some of them will be dropping wages. Some of them will have the option to leave. But you've got to say, look, we've gone down, and some of the players are. I mean, he's better than a Championship player, Ian.
Oh, he
So,
is. He could play in the Europe top 5 leagues, Chris.
yes, yeah.
And if
I
Inter
mean,
Milan paid the money for him, what was reported £25 million, then I don't think we'd say no.
Manchester City still got first option on him, or has that clause been taken out now?
The clause has now been taken out because he signed a new contract with Leicester.
Right, okay, yeah. I don't know how
Yeah.
much he's worth. Boris also says, can Smithies play on the right wing? If Rodgers was here, we might have found out. I said, no, I'm with you. I'd want to keep him.
You're in between.
Definitely keep him, yeah. Sutar. I don't think, again, we've got to keep him, haven't we? He knows this division.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll get laughed at when he goes back to Stoke, I'm sure, but I think he can handle it.
See, I predicted for him to score from a set piece against Stoke, so this season. So I'm gonna get. I'll put that to him. We'll see if it happens. Might get a reply, but no, I think Suits will be good. Chris, he's big, he's strong. He might not be pacey, but yeah, Suter will be in Leicester's plans for sure. I think he'll be the number 1 centre half next season, no doubt. And knows the league inside out, so he'll know what to expect on a cold Tuesday night in Stoke, Chris. So
Indeed.
we're gonna say keep.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I think you've got to look at some of these players and you've got to go, these are the future. These are the players we have to build the team around. Everson in goal. Probably Sutar in the defence, KDH probably in midfield, and
we'd have a good Championship squad. It just mean a few more additions, and that'd be it. I think we'd do all right.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you. Keep hold of Sutar, definitely. Christensen said today he was a little bit disappointed. I think because he was dropped towards the end, but I love his enthusiasm. But yeah, he said he wants to stay, and I'd be saying, great, let's keep him.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Chris. I'd keep Christensen. I think he's got a lot to offer, a lot of progression still to be made by him. He's still young, still learning. And he'd be my number 1 left back next season, Christensen. And I think he'd do well in the Championship, so I'd keep him.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that. Now, this is going to cause controversy,
Daka.
I'm sure. Mr. Daka, to me, I put this out, and you know what it's like on social media. The majority of people, not everybody, but the majority of people come back and say, when you say something, can't actually put an argument back. They've just got to come back and say, well, you don't know what you're talking about, or you're stupid. You know what I mean? Rather than say, well, actually, I don't agree because... that would be hoping too much. But I actually think that Daka could tear up because look, 46 games. Yeah. Plus we got the league and an extra cup game in the League Cup now. FA Cup. We know even if Vardy's on form, he is not going to play Tuesday, Saturday. Daka, I think, could tear up a few Championship defences.
If Daka's to stay, Chris, he's got to take his chance. Let's be honest. He's got to.
Has he got to be given his chance though?
He's got to. Yeah, like you say, Vardy's not going to play Tuesday, Saturday. You know what I mean? He's going to need. Daka's going to have to step up, Chris, and he's not done it so far, has he? To be fair, but you could argue he's not been given much game time under Brendan Rodgers and that, and he's not been favourable in the striking position. He's got pace, but he's got to get his shooting boots on, and that's what lets Daka down. He gets through these defences, but it's his last bit, and I think that's something he's got to do in pre-season. He's got to learn from it, practice it, and then I think it'll be perfect in the Championship. It'd be good in the Championship for me, Daka. I think he'd score quite a few goals if he can get these shooting boots on like he did in the Austrian Bundesliga. I do think the Austrian Bundesliga is like the Championship. Let's be honest. But
Oh, yeah.
Chris, so yeah, I'd keep Daka, and I think he'd do well in the Championship. I might be proven wrong, and people might disagree, but yeah, it's just my opinion.
And John said, well, this is what it's all about, opinions.
It's all
John
about
says,
opinions.
yeah, John Thorne says here, Daka's pace will frighten the Championship.
That's what I'm saying.
To me, he reminds me very much of, in a little bit, he reminds me very much of Iheanacho. That we brought this guy in. Obviously, you know, he was viewed as Vardy's replacement.
Yeah.
But he was never. How long did it take Iheanacho to actually get established in the team? Because he was being brought on for 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there at the end of the game. He was never given a run in the team. And when he was, boom, suddenly. And we know there's a good player in there because of the Moscow game. But we've got to give him that run. We can't be bringing him on for 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there. And hopefully the new manager will play, like you say, two up front.
That's
and
what
you've got Iheanacho, and you've got either Daka or Vardy or the other guy if we buy him, Yates. But, you know, he's got to be given that chance.
I agree.
And you've all, because again, you know, we bought Musa. Now, I happen to like Musa. I think if you go and score 2 goals against, you know, Barcelona, you're not a bad player. He had the pace, but was never played because of Vardy, you know. And then I've got to be very careful because I always joke about Diabate. Everybody went mad about him because he scored 2 goals on his debut. But that was Peterborough. That was Peterborough, not Barcelona. But again, you know, if you're going to buy these players, then use them. Look at, well, we'll come on to Samari later, I'm sure. But look, Daka, I agree with you. Let's keep him. Now then, somebody that's been linked with a move back to Portugal. But your choice is what it's all about. Do you want to keep Ricardo or do you want to sell him?
I'd keep him. Honestly, Chris. If we can keep him fit, I think all these injuries, what Ricardo's had, is all down to Brendan Rodgers' training regime, and like all the other players that's been injured.
Are you my brother from another mother? Because we are definitely agreeing too much here.
I do definitely think that Ricardo could be good in the Championship, but does Ricky P want to play Championship football? Only he's going to know that. But he's bound to get links back to Porto because that's where we brought him from, innit? So I think for me, if Ricky P is committed to Leicester City, obviously he's got quite a few years left on his contract, Chris.
Yes.
Are other teams in Europe going to be committed enough to take a punt on Ricardo with the injury record that he's got at Leicester City? I don't think many of them would, but I don't feel many of the top teams would anyway. So I think if he does go anywhere this summer, it could be like Serie A or the Portuguese league again. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think I'd keep Ricardo. I think he'd do right. I think he'd do right wing, Chris. I'd put him on the right wing. I don't.
I've said that. Yeah,
I have said further forward.
Yeah, I have said that a lot, and I agree with you. We keep Ricardo. And I think we've got to keep this guy, haven't we? We've got to keep this guy.
Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my he'd be my captain in the Championship. Obviously, I know Kiernan in it personally, so I have to watch what I say. But repeat
to me what you said about him offline. Go on.
I have to watch what I say about him. No,
he didn't have him. If you're watching Kieran, he didn't say anything about you at all.
No, I like Kiernan. You know, I think he's a future Leicester City captain. If Johnny Evans isn't offered that new contract, then I'd definitely give the armband to him. He's that Duracell battery in midfield, isn't it? He's that workhorse, you know what I mean? He runs non-stop and them socks are down when he comes off. And that sort of players you want who give that passion and that commitment to your football club. And he's the man. And I think he'd do well as a leader in the Championship. He's done it at Blackpool. He's done it at Luton. Man's proved it in the Championship. He's good enough to play at that level, Chris. So I don't think we'd have any problems with him. So I'd keep Dewsbury Hall and I'd make him captain.
Yeah, I got to just sort of sidetrack here because on one. I mean, there's so many. I tend to try to stick to anything decent to the mainstream press, but somebody's saying here that a good signing if Brendan Rodgers goes to Celtic would be Daniel Amati.
Except Vestergaard with him, Chris.
Yeah, we're stuck with him, unfortunately.
Oh,
I know that we will come on to Amazon, but I agree. Keep him captain. Can't argue with any of that. There we go. Look,
you know we're coming in, Chris.
We did. I mean, I think
it's not number 22 and a half, is it? Straight to 23.
It's like Usain Bolt, you know, that 9.85.
Just flick straight past him.
Yeah, he should. Vestergaard should be 0.00001 or something.
Oops, I missed him.
Look, I mean, we've got to keep him, haven't we?
No. Do you know what?
No, seriously.
Vestergaard wants out. It's been reported, but I think with Vestergaard, it's the way Brendan Rodgers treated him in it when he came. Like Brendan Rodgers regretted signing him. Let's be honest, we could have signed him for 30 million before we paid 15 million for him, like the season before. But I think with Vestergaard, you know, he's not got the pace as he is. The man's like a human lamppost, you know what I mean? Just stands there and just lights up when he's expected to. And you know, I think to be fair, Chris, he's been wanting to move. He's got the cold shoulder from Brendan Rodgers and that. Is that something that showed the relationship had broke down between him and the club? He wanted to move. He didn't want to move due to his partner having a baby and that, which is fair enough.
I understand that. Yeah, I understand.
He is on about 70 grand a week, so you'd want to get the wage bill down. Obviously, Turkey's been interested in him, a few Turkish clubs. So who knows? He could get moved to like Istanbul or something this summer, but we'll have to wait and see, because I don't think Premier League clubs would want him, to be fair.
God, no.
So he's one half of the Chuckle brothers, I like to call him. So, we'll get on to the other Chuckle brother later on.
But look, to me, yes, we've got to sell him, let's be honest with you. But there is a little bit of me that I do feel a bit guilty. I do not blame him for turning that move down when his wife's about to have a baby. I honestly, don't. I get that totally. It was just unfortunate timing.
It's family first, isn't it?
Yeah, always, definitely. You know, and let's be honest with you, we're still getting a wage whether we left or he stayed. So
that's what we don't see with footballers, isn't it? We just think they're all about the money. Some are just thinking about their family first. They don't want to move. They don't want to move for.
No. Before I had kids, I used to work weekends. I was in retail. As soon as my wife got pregnant, my first thing I did was say, "Well, whose is it?" The second thing I did was change my job so that I had weekends off. You know, you do have to put family first. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. But we shouldn't have bought him. Even taking aside the 9-0 and what have you, he was Brendan, like you say, Brendan Rodgers was after him for a while, so he must have thought, yeah, this is a club that wants me. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Look at it's Leicester, the Premier League winners, etc., etc. And Brendan did such a why? And okay, you know, I know we'd lost Fofana to that injury, and it was a last-minute buy, but there were better
panic buy, isn't it?
Yeah, but
let's be honest, it made it worse when he brought the Chuckle brothers in together, innit? You know what I mean? It wasn't just one Chuckle brother. He brought both that summer. He brought Bertrand in as well. You know what I mean? One of the biggest
now,
money
Bertrand won't be coming up because Bertrand has gone because his contracts went out. But I mean, with Bertrand, I thought he actually did all right, and I saw him pre-season. But that was the only game he ever played. But he was injured after that.
Was it one good free kick against that Spanish team?
But the Southampton fans said, he'll always be injured, and they weren't wrong. But I agree. Vestergaard, he's got to go. He's got to go. Indeedy. Now, for me, he's got to go.
What about Mendy's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, Mendy's gone. Yeah,
Mendy's gone.
Yeah, which I would have said keep him, but he's gone.
I'd rather gave him a new contract.
Yes. Indeedy, he's not the player he was.
No, too many injuries.
I can remember at the end of the first season that Man United always coming to Man United. He's going to be wearing red
He
and
was
all this.
fantastic, Chris.
Yes.
When
Okay, he's had
Katey
injury
left.
problems,
Mm,
but he always was. It was the best thing that everybody said, who are you going to replace Canty with? Well, indeedy. And we thought
hmm
we'd got Canty Mark II. He got injured, in fairness, and he hasn't
Yeah,
looked the same player.
no.
And I'm just concerned that we're saying this about all these players, and it might be down to one
Injuries.
person, Brendan, rather than,
Brendan again.
No, that's the worry because
So blame
all these
Brendan.
yes. How? Don't forget. Let's give him his official name.
Bellend.
So that's that's never going. That's never. I'm keeping that all season. Just one more time.
Bellend.
There we go. Yeah. But we've got to accept that I know he was being picked by Brendan to play at centre back, and
Yeah.
he's always got a penalty in him. His arms and his legs don't seem to be in coordination with his brain. They say, "Oh, he's chasing somebody back into the box." You think, "Oh, fucking hell, this is a penalty." To me, I think we've got to sell him.
Yeah. I think quite a few teams are going to be put off the idea of his injury list again. Like Ricardo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Prime Ndidi back in 2019, Chris, he were fantastic. You know what I mean? You had
Yeah.
Prime Ndidi, you had Prime Tillemans, you had Prime Madison. Do you know what I mean? You had all these primes, and they've now made drinks of today, Chris, called Prime. So it's all hydrated and all good. So yeah, I think
Who sucked the hydration out of them? That's the question.
Brendan Rodgers.
I think we know.
Bellend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that man there. No, I think with Ndidi, injuries have cost him, innit? Let's be honest. He's not what he used to be. The Ndidi will take the ball from you like it used to go, He's made so many mistakes this season. The Villa game, the Man City game. I don't know how many times you can. I think the best game he had last season was the Brentford game away where we drew 1-1. So, I think with Ndidi, I'd sell him, Chris, but I don't think a top European team would come in for him. To be fair,
no, I agree. I agree. Sell him. Now then, what do you think about Mr. Pratt?
DP. Oh. See, here's another one that fell out with Brendan Rodgers. See, Brendan's name keeps coming up. You know what I mean?
I can't play Bellend again, otherwise Brad will tell me off.
I spoke with Dennis Pratt in Belgium, and he did admit to me that it fell out with Brendan. Brendan wanted rid of him and all that, and they'd fell out in that. But there was reports of him going to Torino, Fiorentina, Serie A football, and that. But there's a player in Dennis Pratt, but we've been playing him on the wing all last season, innit? You know what I mean? We've not been playing him down the middle. It's more out wide like you did where Jose Perez, and you're thinking, where's your best position, mate? And would I sell Dennis Pratt? I don't think he'd want to play championship football, to be honest, Chris. Let's be honest. I think not quite a lot of that squad would. It's how committed you are as a footballer, but there's no loyalty in football. We know that. So I think Dennis Pratt, for me, would probably go for about £6 to £7 million if we was to sell him this summer. So, I think I'd sell him, Chris, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I did love the guy, but as Boris said there, Brendan has shat on him from a very, very big height. He said that he wanted to stop and fight for his place.
He did. He told me that.
And that's great. We all wanted to hear that, and I think the fans liked him. But again, we all know, the BE shat on him. Unfortunately, I think he's better than the Championship, and I think he would be sold. Now then, Castagna. I'm going to go first on this one because I don't rate this guy this season, and I can't even blame the bell end for it because the guy's a right back.
Yeah.
And, I always said, like, yeah, let's play him at right back and we could play, Ricardo further up the field as, because he's got a good cross on him and he likes a goal. But every time I've kind of really watched him this season, all he's been interested in is bumming out Faze. Because when I look at him, he's in that box right up Faze's arse, not watching any player coming down the left wing of the opposition, our right wing.
About him holding it against Spurs.
Yeah, and it's like, what
Straight
the
past
fuck
Danny
are you
Wood.
doing?
Where you going to make the goals that way?
Yeah, like, you're a right back. Get out, get your dick out of Faze's arse and get back into position because that's all he was doing. And when we put him on the left, he did exactly the same. And I'm like, he's a right back, but he isn't. And yes, he's got an odd good goal in him, but very odd.
A fullback.
To me, and had he maybe scored that goal in
against Newcastle.
Yes, who knows? Who knows? What might have been. But no, I'm sorry. For me personally, I know Arsenal are interested in him, but Arsenal interested in a Leicester player. Who knew? I mean, Arsenal will be interested, but they won't have the balls to come and buy anybody because they never do, let's face it. They just like to be linked with the players. Yeah. But to me, he goes for me. I'm sorry. Let's cash him in on him. He's not even a good right back because, like I say, he doesn't stick in his position.
Yeah, I don't think he's had the best season this season, like all the other players in the squad. We can't just pick out one player. All the squad's been bad. They've all played the part in the relegation. Let's be honest. Castagna has as well. But for me, with Castagna, I've always thought of him as a winger. I've never thought of him as a right back or a full back. It's always been wing. You're like Ricardo. You need to play left wing, and he needs to play right wing. I think they'd be better off down the left and right then, Per, because Castagna can play left wing or right wing, and I think he'd be good at it. They'd be a force in the Championship then, Per, if one played left and one played right. I think they'd do all right, but I think with Castagna, the Arsenal links and that, £22 million, they're reportedly willing to pay they're now in talks with Leicester. Are Arsenal going to pay this £22 million at the end of it and get this negotiations done with this summer? Who knows? Leicester said they're not going to step in his way. So I guess that does mean that, like I said to you before, if a good offer comes in, then Leicester are willing to sell these players, but it's got to be the price that Leicester want and not what the other club are willing to try and rip us off for. You know what I mean? So we've got to be good and smart about the business this summer. And I think you wouldn't turn Arsenal coming down on Castagna, would you? Pay £22 million, Chris. I think
I'd just snap my hand off. Yeah.
How much did we sign him for? I think it was like 20 million, was it, when we signed him?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Not sure.
I'll tell you what, I'd snap Arsenal's hand off £22 million this summer. And I think for me, it's a sell. He's on wages as well. So, yeah, we're going to lose quite a lot of prized assets this summer, like Maddison, Barnes, Castagna, and so on. But it's who the loyal ones are and the committed ones who's going to bring us back up, Chris. So we'll remain and see. And the transfer window is going to tell us all about it.
It is. I agree with you, sell him. Now, Chowdhury's interesting because we've taken that extra year of his... So he hasn't signed a new contract, as some people are saying. We've taken up the option of the 1-year extension that we had on him.
Yeah, we've exercised it.
He's been very good at Watford, as far as I understand. The Watford fans, on the whole, seem to like him.
Yeah.
What annoys... Again, I'm sorry, and I don't want to keep doing this, but his name just keeps coming up. He played that fantastic game against Liverpool, and when he was asked to play in defence, Rodgers came off blowing so much smoke up Chowdhury's arse, and then we never saw him again. He never played again. I mean, if that doesn't sum up Belen Brendan, I don't know what does. Keep him, because I think in this league, he could be that. We often say that we haven't had an enforcer.
Yeah.
And you can't. We played pretty football. I used to say, Leicester, we were like a team of powder puff girls. You know, we didn't. Well, we can't get away with that in the Championship like we did in the Premier League. Even less so. We need somebody there, and as an enforcer, I think he's got. I would have loved to have kept him. I think if we're getting rid of, we've lost Mendy anyway.
Yeah.
We've lost. Well, we said we're going to sell Indeedy, so I would definitely keep him. But what do you think, Jack?
We need a general, innit?
Yeah.
We need a ring general. You know what I'm saying? We need that battle, that aggression, that fight, that leaves everything out on the pitch. The old school tackler, and that's Hamza Chowdhury, Chris. You know, he ain't scared of bloody getting stuck in. I mean, look at him at Mo Salah. He bloody took Mo Salah out. I mean, he took Matt Ritchie out, and Newcastle have never forgave him for it. So, yeah, it would never a clean challenge on Matt Ritchie. Let's be honest. He did get injured. Which is sad to see for any player. But you've got to show that aggression. We're lacking that bite, and he's the man in that midfield who no one would want to go near or even run past. You know what I mean? He'll leave one on you, and that's something we need. That's something we've been missing this season. I think him and Dewsbury would do well in midfield next season. He showed it at Watford. He were one of Watford's player of the seasons last season. And they were rating him very highly, and it shows what we were missing then. So, yeah, I'd keep Chowdhury. I'd exercise that 1 year extension, and I'd play him next season.
Yeah, I think we're having a bit of a man crush here. I think we both are on Mr. Chowdhury, but definitely 100% keep him. Quickly moving on. Everson, number 31. Let's drop the number 3 off. Give him the number 1. I think we know he can do it in this division. And he. All right, he's got a mistake in him. Of course he has. Every goalkeeper's got a. Let's be honest with you. Vardy makes a mistake, you kind of, a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it costs a goal. You know what I mean? So, but I had to say I wanted Ward. As you know, I've now come out earlier and said, no, let's sell him. But Everson, he's got to be, to me, don't bring anybody else in. Let's just build our defence around Everson in goal.
Yeah. He's proved it in the Championship, Chris, with Preston, with Rotherham. He's even been to OH Leuven on loan. He's been to, I think it's Oldham as well. So man's been around the EFL, innit? You know, he knows what it takes to be number 1. And Preston was going to sign him for £5 million once upon a time. And there was on about Sunderland in a swap deal for Patterson with Daniel Iverson. But, yeah, I'm glad that ain't happening now. I mean, you know, keep Iverson. He deserves to be number 1. He deserves to be given a chance. He knows the Championship inside out. Played against numerous of the clubs what's in the Championship now, so he'll know what it takes to be that number 1 now. So I think Iverson for me, it's just his distribution in his positioning at times. You know, he's a great shot stopper. He really piles it out, doesn't he, when the ball comes at him? But if he can work his positioning out and his distribution this summer, then I reckon he'll be a great number 1 for next season. And but then we talk about Schmeichel, innit? Schmeichel, he was the same with distribution. Sometimes his positioning, innit? But he worked.
I'm sure Schmeichel had made a bet with some mates. What seat you sat in? I'll get the ball to you a couple of times.
But Schmeichel did say he'd left his number 1 gloves in the right hands in Iverson after that game. I think Iverson deserves the number 1 spot, and I'd put him as number 1, so I'm keeping him, Chris.
I think we're both agreeing on this
Luke
one.
Thomas, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. I'll let you go first on this one.
Oh, dear. Well, quite a lot of Leicester fans, when we're in the Premier League, said that he's a Championship player. Can't play in the Premier League. Not strong enough, not good enough, can't even defend for Toffee. And I was one of them that said it, Chris. I'll hold my hands up, and I did say it about Luke Thomas. And then the missus said to me the other day, she said, Jack, what was you saying about Luke Thomas as a championship player? And she said, look where Leicester City are now. And I said,
True.
you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I shot myself in the foot here, Chris. It's like, we've relegated Leicester City ourselves by the fans, not bloody the club. Luke Thomas, I don't know. Do you know what? I think he could do all right in the championship, to be fair. He's just got to toughen up. He's got to be more defensively minded and more better at communicating and be more switched on. And I think that's something he's got to add to his game. He's still a young player, still can progress. There was obviously little rumours about him going to Forest for £5 to £7 million, Chris. But yeah, I think that was a bit of a rumour, to be fair, that probably wasn't true. So, but you never know what's happening with Leicester D behind the scenes. I did say to a Forest mate, is it happening? And he said, I've not even heard about it. So the first thing he said. So, yeah, I think with Luke Thomas, I'd potentially keep him next season. But if a bid does come in around £7 million, then, yeah, I'd snap your hand off for him.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I would keep. So you're selling him, are you?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep him. It depends if a bid comes in for him.
Yeah, I would keep him as well because I don't think he's as bad as people have said. I think we'd have been up shit creek without him. When we had the injuries, because we had Pierre out and we had Justin out.
Do you feel though, Chris? See, a lot of people said this to me when we went away from home a lot over the last few seasons, that Luke Thomas got thrown at the deep end when he wasn't ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He should have gone on loan to the Championship in the last few seasons. But I think because, he hasn't gone on loan to the Championship. He's been thrown at the deep end, hasn't he, because of the Pereira thing, the Justin thing and all that. You know what I mean? If them things never happened, then I think he would have gone on loan to the Championship and toughened up. And I think that would have been best for him, because Dewsbury all did that.
Yeah, I think he was thrown in at the deep end, definitely. And I think he's got the confidence. I mean, for him to sort of run upfield, I think it was against Man United, and shout at Vardy, leave it, and go and score the goal. Sorry?
What a goal.
Yeah, it was, exactly.
Smashed it in the top corner.
He's got the confidence.
Get him up front. No one else
a bit like Amati. A bit like Daniel Amati. As much as we moan, we would have been up shit creek without these players at times. So, yes, I think, for me, if I'm letting Castagna go, which I am...
You got to keep him.
We got Pereira, and then we possibly got James on that side.
So you need 2 and 2, innit?
And Thomas. So those are the 4 back ones there. So, yeah, for me, I would agree with you. Keep him.
We all, yeah.
And finally...
here we go. Bakary
Soumaré. Go on.
I don't think it's worked out for him, Chris, to be honest, at Leicester. You've got to start him, haven't you? It's no good bringing him off the bench and expecting him to do something, innit? Because he's not.
We say that with all the players, in fairness, don't we? They've all got to be given the time to settle.
Yeah. He can hold the ball up, let's be honest. He can do that. He can keep the ball. And look, when he was throwing bloody Man City off the ball in the Community Shield and that, we thought, bloody hell, go right, tank here.
Yeah.
Man ain't taking no prisoners. And, he can do that in his game. You can see in parts of his game why Lille was so highly rated of him in the League One winning season, League One, what you want to call it. And, I just think with Soumaré, he's been very unsettled, with personal problems and that and all that. And I think that's affected his whole game. And Rodgers hasn't been playing him at all, has he? He's just been leaving him out. And like you say,
it's coming up, doesn't it?
It's the same with Daka and that, isn't it? They haven't been given that time to thingy. I mean, Soumaré, Daka could bloody go and tear up Championship next season if none of them leave and given the chance to start next season. Then they could be 2 probably important players for us.
Do you not think that when you used to sign a player, let's take Soyuncu as the example here.
Yeah,
they're not thrown straight into the team. I think Kevin Keegan, for example, as well, when he went from Scunthorpe to Liverpool, he had about 6 months, I think, minimum in the B team before, because they had reserves then, before he
Yeah.
even saw the first team. I could be wrong, but I believe that's true. And Soyuncu, he had that year to acclimatise, and he was better for it. So when Maguire left, he just slotted into that. Now, occasionally you get a player that's thrown in, as in Fofana, and let's be honest with you, whatever we say about him, he took to it like duck to water. But the majority of players, hopefully, we all wish he'd have drowned at the end, but he was good from the start. But a lot of these players, they've got to take. He's come from playing in France. He was a winner in France. He won
different football.
Liga, or whatever. I can never remember whichever
Yeah,
it is.
Liga.
And that's it. He won that, so he's a winner. Then Brendan says, "Oh, I want him to be a box to box." Well, if you wanted a box to box, why don't you fucking buy one? You know what I mean?
He ain't quick enough.
No. If that's what you want, why didn't you buy a box to box midfielder? But again, he's come out. When you look at him, for me, again, a bit like, if you imagine him and Hamza Chowdhury in the middle of that pitch, nobody would get past them.
No.
It'd be like, yeah, come on then, if you think you're going to get past us, So I think these players have been thrown in because they've had to, because we've had Harold Shipman on patrol at Seagrave, you know what I mean? And they've had to come in and before they haven't even had time to unpack, and they're on the pitch playing. So for me, I keep him because I think we could do with that sort of player in the Championship. We need some. We need that sort of, like Chowdhury, like not afraid to put the foot in.
Yeah, I think with Samori, he needed time to adjust. His first season, he ran personal problems and all that. It affected him mentally, and I think he was homesick, let's be honest. But the French league is different football to the Premier League. The Premier League's more forceful, more at speed, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Anyone could do probably well in the French league, like they could the Scottish league. Do you get what I'm saying? No offence, but
yeah,
I think that with Samori, he's had to get used to fast-flowing football in the Prem, and I don't think he's up to that level with pace. Like, you've seen it last season with him and Tillemans. They're not quick enough. You know what I mean? It's all fast-paced, and players are running past you, and you've got to go and catch them up. Tillemans are bloody on the halfway line still, Chris, by the time they've put the ball in the net. And you're thinking, and Samori's the same against Leeds. You've seen it against Leeds away from home last season. You're thinking, bloody hell, these pair they run like a bloody old people on bloody Zimmer frames. Do you get what I mean? It's like it's that sort of movement, and you're thinking. Now, I think with Samori though, do I keep him or do I sell him? I think I said sell. On mine. Bruce, who's going to want him? I mean, Palace are interested in him still. They're reportedly going to offer 10, 15 million for him. So I think I'd snap their hands off if they paid the money for him. I think he's had 2 years, hasn't he, Chris, of ups and downs and readjustments. Let's just put it at that.
Is it 2? Has he been there with us that long?
Yeah, he's been here 2 years. He signed my Daka side, and he's been here 2 years.
Wow. So you're saying sell him?
I think it's 2 years in August.
So you're saying sell him?
Yeah, I'd sell him.
Do you ask? We have gone through 23 players, and it's the first one we've disagreed on.
I think I said sell him. I'm not sure.
I am selling keep him, and it's my channel, so I'm going to decide.
All right.
There we go.
You keep him.
But apart from that, we've not done bad there. We've agreed on 22 players. We are pretty much, by God. Hey, we should be co-managers, shouldn't we?
We should. We knew on the touchline, Chris.
I want to very quickly, because I'm conscious of the time, but I just want to very quickly ask about 2 possible incomings and just get your thoughts on that very quickly after this.
The Premier League? That's so last season. It's all about the Championship here on LTID TV.
Now that's what I call football.
You hit the right spot.
Premier League. Who cares about the Premier League? It's so last season. Connor Cody, I've seen him mentioned. Keith mentioned this earlier. I don't know if you're still in, Keith, but yeah, Connor Cody. I'd take him.
I'd take a punt on it. I don't think he costs much either. I think Wolves want rid of him, but I don't think Everton are keen on re-signing him. See, Connor Cody's a leader, isn't it? He's a leader. And,
Well, so long ago, he was in the England team, wasn't it?
I know. They were captain at Wolves, and, and I think... do you know what? I think he'd be a decent signing, I don't think he'd cost as much money. He's done the Championship before with Wolves and that, so I think he'd do all right for us. I'd sign him, to be fair, but some fans might disagree and say, no, bloody hell, Jack, what are you on about deluded? Is tough for you, or... I think he'd do all right as a squad player.
Yeah, I do. I would definitely for the 4 million. Like you say, that's the sort of price we're going to be looking at. And finally, John said this earlier. Chair from QPR. I've heard again a few people have mentioned his name.
Elias Chair. Or Share, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Share. I think Elias Share.
I don't know. I mean, if you turn back time, it could be Share.
It could.
Really?
Do you believe in love after love at Loftus Road?
That's another show that doesn't go out till after midnight, so we'll leave that one. What do you think about him?
Good player, good Championship player, Elias Share, one of QPR's player of the seasons. He was one of their standout players when they were really struggling, isn't it? He's a midfielder who plays more attacking, and that's something we want. And I think Elias Share would be a good signing for Leicester. I don't know how much QPR would want for him, but I think they'll want a reasonable amount because he's their prize asset. But I think Elias Share would be a good signing for Leicester if that's something we are definitely on to. I know it's a rumour at the minute, but Leicester are bloody slow as out, aren't they, when it comes to transfers and
I'm just
sorting everything out, Chris.
Yeah, I've just gone on to Football League World of all places. Leicester City, Elliott Chair, whatever you want to say. I've just seen the Moroccan, bloody hell. Moroccan international, 14 goal contributions across the last 2 seasons. Whilst averaging an average of 2.6 key passes a game.
I think their last Moroccan international were Adel Tarab, QPR.
I mean, they're saying as a replacement for Maddison, but again,
we ain't got a manager, have we? So I don't think we could talk about transfers of who's coming in.
Well, we've got like say, Martin Glover's there.
Speculation.
Yeah, it all is. Obviously, Leicester.
This manager might come in and say, "Bloody, look at your list," and say, "No, don't want him. No. It's like the Tom Kearney one from Fulham. If Scott Parker came in, then that might be a signing that Scott Parker would look at Tom Kearney in the Championship, but then. He's got championship experience. He's a leader as well, captain. He's another leader we'd look at potentially. I think he'd do all right for Leicester, but it depends on the manager, Chris. It depends on the manager, what sort of players they're looking at. And I think the only time we're going to find out who we're really after regarding transfers is when the actual manager gets appointed. And obviously when does pre-season training start? Is it the 1st of July?
I think so.
Or it might be the 3rd because don't they go in on a Monday?
If it's a Monday, then it's the 3rd. Yes.
Yeah, it'd be the 3rd. I don't see them going in on a Saturday, but you never. I think it might be the Saturday though, to go in for fitness and then start pre-season training on the 3rd. So, we're about just over two and a bit weeks until pre-season training commences. So, we need a manager, Chris, and we've got to be hot on our tails now. But then Someone said Rudkin's in Greece on holiday.
Someone said who's in Greece?
Someone said Rudkin's on holiday in Greece. We can't do anything till he comes back. But that's another rumour. I don't believe none of it, Chris. I don't believe none of this. You know what I mean? It's like the manager situation. I don't believe none of it until it actually happens. And it's concrete evidence that it's happening.
I think my one worry is, and it is a big worry, is that whoever we get in certain positions are not going to be given a chance. as in whoever replaces Maddison, oh, he's not as good as Maddison, with that Mahrez effect, if you like.
Or like Gazelle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whoever it is, they're always going to be compared to Vardy or
See, you
or,
can't
or
compare.
Maddison or Tielemans or So but look, it's going to be a long summer. That's the one thing that's going to be
Well,
guaranteed.
it is for a Leicester fan. I don't know about other clubs.
It is. It is. We'll do another show the night before it finishes when we're probably going to be signing everybody.
We'll be still talking about Leicester being slow off the pace
Yes,
before we play
yeah.
Northampton, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, we've signed somebody. Oh, it's 14 seconds past. Oh, sorry, that's a bit.
Oh, we can't play against Northampton. It ain't happening.
Jack, thank you so very much. Your link I have
appreciate
put it in the description below, but do give a shout out to your channel.
Follow us at the Final Whistle on YouTube. Chris has put the link in the description, so go and hit the link. Subscribe to my channel. We've got a lot coming up over the next few weeks. Transfer talk. We've got Fox's chat. I mean, talk about Leicester. I mean, I might be a bit slow off the pace with that. No, winding you up. But no, when the new season comes, we've got the match previews, the match reviews. We'll have championship predictions next season. But if you want the Premier League, then we'll do the Premier League as well. But yeah, we'll have the match day vlogs of that back out when pre-season comes. But we'll be doing quite a lot in. But when all the news comes and that regarding actual players signing and an actual manager gets through the door, then we'll report it live. We've got the championship fixtures next week on the channel. I think Chris has got it as well. I don't know what time Chris is doing his, but now
10 to 9 I've got to be up for.
But now go and watch both channels. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining one, talking about who we think's gonna be coming to the King Power or going to Plymouth.
What time are you doing yours, Jack?
I think I'm doing mine at 8:30. I'm going to look through the teams and talk about each individual team.
I was going to say, what we can do, we could do a joint because we can share it to each other's channel.
Actually,
Have a think about it anyway.
I did that with what was it? John Sinclair TV.
Yes,
I did that with him, and his followers came over to me as well. So I guess me and you could do that, combine the channels, and then we'll react together, and then we'll talk about what we think to the fixtures.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's a week away, so we'll plan it before then. But
then we've got the Carabao Cup as well. That draw at 2:30. So we'll be having a look at who's coming to the King Power or going to Salford City.
Do you know what? I did the Carabao Cup I think it was last season or the season before. At the very last minute, because it's always late starting the Carabao Cup, it said they're going to do the draw at 10, and it's about 10 to 11 when they do it. And I went live, and I actually had about 12,000 people that were watching. I'm like, what
when was that?
Hell? Sorry?
When was that?
That was one of the Carabao Cup draws. I'm like, what the hell's gone on?
I had like 10,000 people on my live once when I put the Carabao draw on.
It was I'd got people were coming in from Australia. Oh, it was weird. But look, anyway, we've got it all to look forward to. Premier League, who cares? That was last season.
Let's go and crack on with the championship, Chris.
Exactly. Cheers, Jack. I'll speak to you before next week. All the best. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Take care.
Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks to Jack for joining us. Link is in the description below. Do go and check it out. Great Leicester channel. The Final Whistle. Right, let's tell you what is coming up on this channel. He says as he's just going to play a round. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So, the quiz. Do you like a quiz? I think I've got Jack coming up on our Big Fat Leicester quiz, which is... I'm the big fat bit of that, by the way. Everybody else is the Leicester quiz bit. That's the only quiz that we're going to be doing on this channel. We have now a second channel, LTID TV, the quiz channel. We've got Million Point Drop, Play Your FIFA Cards Right. Who Am I? There's so many different general football quizzes, not just Leicester. If you were part of or you were following Brad's Top 10 Battles channel, that is now LTID TV, the quiz channel, so you've automatically followed us onto that. But do go over and give it a follow. The Big Fat Quiz is on here. All the other quizzes will be over on there. So all you'll actually see on Brad's channel is quizzes. But the Big Fat Leicester quiz, like I say, Dave started it last week and started off with 11 out of 20. Brad's the next one on. He's going to be on a week today. He is, of course, obviously, we like to say that he's the quiz king. I think he's more like Wayne. No, let's not go there, eh? That's coming up next Tuesday. And look, $1.99 of your good English pounds makes you helps you become a member. Just like Rowan Tree did, and we thank him very, very much for that. Really did appreciate that. It helps run, and you can see all the extras you get there, and a quiz just for members as well. And next season there will be member-only shows. But whatever you do, you don't have to become a member. It is an option there for you. But you can follow us on TikTok, and we do all the clips and the outtakes and the mistakes. They're all loaded up to TikTok. So get over. Now, there's 2 on TikTok. I have got my own personal one. If you try and follow me on that, I'll just block you and paint in Windows, whatever you're called, about 10 times. I'm going to block you if you keep asking. It's at LTID TV is the one you need to follow. My own personal one is just for close friends and family. So it's at LTID TV is the one you want to follow. And also on Instagram as well. Follow us over if you prefer your news Instagram style at LTID TV again. Follow us on both of those. And subscribe to the channel. Again, it really, really, really does help. So thank you very much if you are subscribed. I am putting subscriber mode on now more and more. So please do subscribe and smash the video, smash the likes. That does help us as well. I'm not back now, I don't think, until Monday. So have a really, really, really good weekend. I'm off for my radio training tomorrow because this is
something is coming. Something big.
Are you ready?
Monday the 3rd of July. You won't see me, you will hear me. 8 till 10 o'clock, Surrey Hills Radio. Do check it out. You'll be waking up with me in your bed. Literally. That's coming then. Look, this has been LTID TV. I've been Chris. Thank you so very, very much. Hope you've enjoyed the show. This is Arnie. I'll see you next week. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.